Let's go. How do we do it? Hey! Hope y'all had a freaking wonderful Thanksgiving. Today we're not really a review. It's a discussion about Family Guy. The art of Family Guy, because I don't know what you all did over your Thanksgiving break, but for me, I sure as hell watched a lot of Family Guy. I already told you I think it's a 10 out of 10 TV show. But I'm afraid that not all of you are truly convinced by how freaking epic this show is. I'm afraid that some of you think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I literally didn't even want to I didn't even want to eat dinner. I wanted to skip it to watch Family Guy. And I would have if I didn't have social responsibilities to visit my family and make sure they know I care about them, even though this is my family right here, the Family Guy. We're all family. The art of Family Guy. So, there's actually a lot of artistic value to this show. A lot of people tend to just diss it as a joke show, fart, pee, poop, Peter Griffin, whatever. You're missing out. You're missing out if you don't understand. So let me go ahead and walk you through Family Guy, and you will see and understand on a deep level why it is the quintessential postmodern American TV show that perfectly encapsulates everything about our society in a way that is far more intelligent than, frankly, any other TV show on the planet besides maybe Rick and Morty. And this is actually a better commentary on society, because Rick and Morty is more about Rick intelligence, while this is more sociological. So let's go ahead and get in the first slide. And the first slide we have here is Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin, I guess you could say he's the main character. He probably has the most amount of dialogue. The funny thing is the show is called Family Guy. And Peter is a guy, and he's in the family, and he's probably he's the main character. And they never explicitly say if he is the Family Guy. I'm going to assume he is. But one thing I've always wondered is he the Family Guy? And I'm going to assume he is because he's a guy. But, so Peter is the type of guy to, how do I put this? Imagine you're in the kitchen and the oven is on and you need the oven to turn off. And you say, Peter, turn the oven off. Peter is the type of guy to turn the oven up because he doesn't know. And it's just like, of course that's going to drive you crazy. What a freaking idiot. By the way, on the screen here we have Peter, and then we have a Peter Griffin lookalike. The show is all cartoon. This Peter Griffin lookalike is not the real Peter Griffin, but I liked it because it's kind of how I think he looks. So, where was I saying? Oh yeah, so Peter's the type of guy, if you say, Peter, turn the oven off. Peter's such a dunce, he might turn the oven up and start a fire and burn the whole freaking house down and kill Meg. But even though he's a dunce, we love him anyways. Because he's got a big heart. Not just a big belly, but a big heart. And his chin looks like a freaking sack of golf balls. And I think I love him. You know, that's the thing is even though it might drive you nuts. You know, imagine you're living with somebody who you say, Peter, turn the sink off. And then he turns the sink on. That's the type of guy Peter Griffin is. But then he'll go, and you're like, oh yeah, I love this guy. And the thing is even though he's such a dunce, he's dropping truth bombs for this entire show. He's not afraid to diss Fox News. He drops truth bombs that are like the jokes here are just so intellectual. They really are. They're full of cultural references that go over. I think a lot of people don't like the show because it goes over their head. Because it has a lot of cultural references in a very postmodern kind of way. That it's like you're watching an idiot who's smarter than you. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever listened to, like, I don't know, Tim Heidecker? Or some sort of comedian who is acting stupid? But he's really he's actually a genius, but in his stupid form of comedy, he's kind of making fun of people who actually are stupid. And he's slipping a lot of intelligent jokes into his humor. So it's like stupidity for intellectuals. And people who actually are stupid aren't going to get Peter Griffin because they're going to see themselves and be like, this guy's just doing his own thing and he's making cultural references I'm too stupid to understand. So it's a show for intellectuals who appreciate it. And that's Peter Griffin summed up in a nutshell. As he is, he might drive you nuts with his idiocy. He's going to do some stupid things that are going to drive you crazy every day. But you're going to love him because he's got a big heart. And that's the most important thing about Family Guy, is that it's about family, for Pete's sake. It's for Peter Griffin's sake. It's called Family Guy. Family Guy. So Peter Griffin is truly the Family Guy. It's all about, it doesn't matter how stupid your dad might be. If he loves you, you're going to love your dad. So that's enough about Peter. I think you get the gist. Next up, we have Lois. Lois. So this is actually not what Lois looks like. Lois is a different type of cartoon. But this I thought it was kind of cool. It captures her. She's got like a kind of vibe to her. And I feel like this captures that pretty well. And it doesn't matter. The point is Lois is a freaking... here's the funny thing is, even though it's called Family Guy, which is very patriarchal, by the way. Take note, we do live in a patriarchal society, and Family Guy, they acknowledge it. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that fact. They're not endorsing it, they're just acknowledging it. But if you really watch the show and pay close attention, Lois is like the glue that holds everything together, because the whole freaking all of Quahog, Rhode Island, where they live, all of Quahog feels like it's just ripping at the seams, about to fall apart, because Peter Griffin is doing all sorts of nutty crap. Peter is getting everybody in trouble, saying all sorts of offensive jokes. We'll talk more about that later. It's not really offensive if you have the brain to handle it. And then Lois is actually just like, she's not only is she banging hot, but she's actually got, she's a good mother who brings everybody together. And when Peter is getting out of nuts, Lois wraps him in and makes sure everything gets solved. Like, the whole world would be going to hell if it weren't for Lois. And, I think there's some commentary here about, Family Guy. Even though Lois is putting all the work in to keep the whole family together, it doesn't make sense to be patriarchy. But Peter's funnier than Lois, so of course Peter's going to be the main character. Not saying that men are always funnier than women. I know some women who are funnier than some men. But Lois, she is funny too. She's very funny. And she's just like... I think the best part about Lois... I think the best part about Lois is she gives you hope. Because Peter is a dunce. He didn't go to the best college. I don't know what college he went to. I don't think he went to college. Or if he did, he went to some... No offense to people who went to state school, but Peter went to state school. Not Harvard. No offense. What else? And he's not the best looking guy. He's a little big. Nothing wrong with me. I'm not going to body shame, but just in American society, if you're fat, maybe you're not going to have as good luck with the hotties like Lois. Not my opinion. I love big people. I love them. But unfortunately, we live in a patriarchal society that only wants thin people. And then we got Peter, who's a dunce. Didn't go to Harvard. He's big. He's got a ball sack on his chin. And he's wearing glasses. Glasses are seen as sometimes not cool. I think they're cool. But anyways, Family Guy. Okay, but the thing is that this is the important message, is despite the fact that Peter doesn't fit all the stereotypes of what a hot guy is, whatever that means, he still ends up with a hot woman who's intelligent and keeps the family, like a great mother. I hope I can meet Lois someday, or someone like her. And the reason is because Peter is a fucking good dude. He's a lovable dude. You love Peter. Peter keeps your life exciting. Peter makes you smile and laugh and happy, and you just... It's literally, even though it's literally going against the grain of what society is telling everybody to do. It's saying, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what it should be. And Family Guy is saying, you don't have to do the Ivy Leagues, and you don't have to be thin. If you got a big heart, you get what is the most important thing, which is a loving relationship with your family. Would you rather be in a Ivy League with a lot of money and a big ass penis and a small body so you're hot, and then you have a hot wife but you hate her and your family's fighting all the time? Or would you rather be Peter Griffin, who's ugly and stupid? And what else? And fat. And probably doesn't make very much money. But you have a loving family. Obviously, everyone in the world would agree the second option is better. And Family Guy gets to that, and it's just like going against the grain of what society tells you to do because it tells you what really it should be. So I don't want to just say Lois is like... I don't want to do the misogyny thing where you only talk about the woman character in the context of the man, which is what I just did for 5 minutes. Lois is awesome. She's like literally my favorite character. She's so funny. I always pray every time I press play, please be a Lois episode where they have Lois talk a lot. But, you know, they don't do that too often. But it's awesome. So, great TV show. Great job, Lois. And honestly, I love Lois. Not even just because of the way she looks, because she also has a good personality. All right, so let's move on to Chris. So I chose this image for, well, first off, we had the dog Chris. That Chris is actually a human. I shouldn't have used either. Chris doesn't look like either of this. So we have this dog Chris. I don't even know what episode that is. That might just be furry fan art, but I thought it was kind of funny, so I put it in this show. And then we have Punk Chris, and I thought, this is Punk Revolution Now. People are going to be like, why are you talking about Family Guy and Punk Revolution Now? And I'm like, well, I'll put this picture of Punk Chris in, and everyone's going to agree that Chris is punk. And then you'll get off my case. So, Chris is punk. What is he, like 14 years old? He's 14 years old, but he's really big. He's a big boy. He looks like a friggin' grown man, but he's 14. And if you thought Peter was dumb, I'll put it this way. Chris, turn off the oven. Chris turns the oven up. Oops, I turned the oven up. And he turns it up even more, and then turns the stove on. Like, literally. If you think Family Guy, if you think Peter is stupid, Chris is even dumber. But holy crap, this Chris slides so slyly. You don't even think about Chris. He slides these witty one-liners that are so perverted and funny and twisted and fucked up and nuts. And it's just like, this is what I want to be my son. I want Chris to be my son. And yeah, I mean, we have a family here. We're just getting started. We already have a family. So I don't really have that much to say about Chris. But he's very lovable. He probably smells bad, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's like a kind of a show. Even though this is like a very quintessential patriarchal family so far. Hint. There's a lot of like going against the grain, going against what society tells you, and doing things that might be a little different. Like with Chris, I don't know. Maybe you could say he's neurodivergent. So there's that. And he's punk, so we're pretty good there. And let's move on to Stewie. What did I say about the traditional patriarchal family? Well, we're just about to destroy that with Stewie. So Stewie, first off, he's a baby. I know. With the picture I chose, how it doesn't look anything like a baby. It looks like a 50-year-old man. Well, anyway, so he's a baby. He's kind of an evil genius, which is like, wait, how is he literally 1 year old and he's a genius and he got the genes of Peter Griffin, who's the dumbest person ever, and he's the brother of Chris Griffin, who's the dumbest person of all time, and he's a baby genius? Where'd he get those genes from? Kind of makes you think, a little head scratcher. Of course, the baby is literally the smartest one in the entire family, and he's a baby genius up to doing evil baby genius because he wants to kill his mom or something. I don't know. And he makes a time machine, and he's gay. I mean, you can see from the gay flag. I Googled image Stewie, and that came up, so he must be gay. And that's pretty cool. Of course, the smartest character in the whole show is gay. Thank God. This is why we need gay people, because they're smarter. Just saying. And that's all we have for Stewie, but just knowing the fact that he's a genius and he's gay and he's a baby. You thought the show couldn't get fucked up anymore, huh? Well, it just did. And he talks, but can the family understand him? No one knows. But, I just think the Gen Z, the future generation, is definitely more, openly, supportive of LGBTQ, etc. And then we got Stewie, who's the future generation, who's the smartest one, and he's very liberal and I don't know if he's liberal. He's kind of evil. I guess you could be evil liberal. He's an evil liberal, but he's a genius, and he's LGBTQ, and he just represents the future. And we're all hoping Stewie, who's smarter than the rest of us old boomers, the younger generation, is gonna come in with their intellect and save us all. And that's Stewie, but he's an evil genius, so maybe there's something there too. So I don't know. But you see what I'm saying? There's layers. All right, now we're going to Brian. I chose this image because what's funnier than a freaking stoner? So we have Brian smoking a joint, and he's a talking dog who is the second smartest character on the show after Stewie. So can you believe it? Stewie, the baby, is literally the smartest, and then the dog is the second smartest, which is usually the opposite. Usually, the dog is the second dumbest, and the baby's the very dumbest. But here we got the smart ass dog, very, very liberal, very smart, and he's always throwing these one-liners in at Fox News. So if you're a Republican, you might like this show because it does get a little offensive sometimes, but you might get offended because it's full of liberal content. And that's another part of the intellectual, is that, like, I love the Stewie and Brian episodes because, like, so usually, Family Guy has multiple plots that kind of and then maybe connect at the end, the classic storyline stuff. So you might have, like, Peter and Chris doing some dumb fart stuff with, some intellectual stuff sprinkled in there for the, And then we have Stewie and Brian, which is the opposite, where it's the intellectual stuff, because they're the two intellectuals who talk politics and society. And then below that, they're just full of stupidity. So it's like you get. Do you want stupidity with intelligence beneath it, or do you want intelligence with stupidity beneath it? Family Guy gives you both. I love Brian. I see a lot of myself in Brian, and he's smoking weed. See, it's a liberal show. Democrats wanted to legalize it, so let's move on to the next one. Do I have to talk about Meg? Of course I do. Meg I love her. So this is, again, she's the cartoon at the very bottom left there. But I found this image, I thought that was freaking hilarious, because that's probably what Meg looks like. So Meg is what? She's like 16 years old? She's a little older than Chris. I don't know. They don't really give her much. It's kind of mean. They don't give her much personality. They make fun of her in the show. She's kind of like the butt of a lot of jokes, and it's just like. But it's kind of with self-awareness, because a lot of sitcoms they because they're sexist, they treat the girls like inferior, and then Family Guy, which is an intellectual show, does that just bluntly, treat the female as inferior, talk over her, don't let her talk, call her ugly, make fun of her looks, pressure her to do this and do that and this and that and this and that and this. And Family Guy says, enough! We're going to do it overtly, as a critique, and as a funny joke. And that's kind of Family Guy in a nutshell, really. So, last slide, what does Family say about society? Well, like I said, it's postmodern because it takes the quintessential Northeastern American experience and amplifies it to insanity levels and flips it on its head by taking all sort of expectations of what society demands from you and flipping it on its head and making sure that everything you thought you knew about Family Guy, about the American society in the Northeast, flips on its head. And it brings the whole society together because it's a Northeastern family, which is very liberal America, urban liberal Northeastern America with lots of libs like Brian. Go Brian. And then we have lots of jokes in here which are most people would consider offensive. Okay, don't need to do quotations. It's offensive jokes. But it's not really offensive because if you're smart, it's not. The jokes that are offensive aren't like making fun of people of color or whatever. It's making fun of people who are stupid enough to make fun of people of color. You see what I'm saying? It's like ironic in a sense that's like making fun of people who are like for example, they're going to be like, dang it, I hate when Italians keep tying their shoes. And it's like, that's not really a stereotype. They pulled that out of thin air, out of their ass. And you're going to laugh your ass off because that's freaking ridiculous. And it's going to be a comment on how all racism is ridiculous and stupid. Makes fun of everybody, but in stupid ways it's like with awareness that it's stupid, and it's actually making fun of people who are actually, racist, etc. It's like, it's like with the Meg thing. It's like making fun of sexism in our society in a very critical way that I think is actually going to make a difference. And it brings us all together. Because it's a quintessential, it's like everyone hates America right now. We got people on the left who hate America because it's racist. We got people on the right who hate America because it's fat and gay. And Family Guy brings all those people together around one show. And brings us it just throws so much, I don't know. So it's just kind of a postmodern experience, if I do say. And it moves us all together in harmony and destroys. It's just destroying with sheer intellect the the flaws of it destroys the flaws of our society with its intellectual rigor. The only issue with the show is that it's really too smart for some people to understand. Like, some people are not going to understand the show because they're just going to see the stupid stuff, and they're not going to be smart enough to understand the smart stuff. And the stupid people are the people who need this show the most. But I think even then it's good enough to draw stupid people in and make them smarter. It's literally like modern day, like, books. You know what I mean? Like, it's being shared to the whole world, and it's making everyone smarter. So, and I chose this image here because I feel like the woman holding Chris on a leash is postmodern. Because Chris is a 14-year-old boy, and this is a no-no. I don't know. It's kind of funny to me. And that's all I have, and then we have a fart hole. Let's take that as you will. That's all I have to say. Punk Revolution now. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like this video. I know this is not music, but you know what? I watched a lot of Family Guy over Thanksgiving, and I was in the mood to talk about Family Guy, and we'll do more music stuff soon. You know what I'm going to go do right now? Take a wild guess. Watch Family Guy. So thanks so much for watching Punk Revolution now.